All right.
Hi, everyone.
So institutions are off the panel. We can now talk about crypto-native yield, but actually connecting both the crypto world and the real world. So maybe let's first start with a short round of introductions. I think many people know you, but let's do it again. Mark?
Thanks, Victor. Hi, everyone. My name's Mark. I'm from Camino. In case you don't know us, we're a DeFi protocol in Solana, of course. We've been building as a team for a few years now, and we do a few things, but the biggest and the focus for today is about credit. We have Solana's largest borrow-lend marketplace, so we're building to hopefully make the best and the biggest credit solutions for on-chain finance on Solana.
And we'll get back to your V2 in a second, which you just announced 2 hours ago, I think, maybe 3 now.
We shipped it today, so we've been working on that since last year, and very stoked to get that out. So check it out on camino.finance.
Dan?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Dan Roberts, CEO of Henri. I guess ship or die is relevant, given the V2 launch today. And we launched an on-chain reinsurance pool yesterday. So catching my breath from that, really bringing this giant use case to the world of DeFi, using reinsurance essentially as a liquidity layer for DeFi to interact with all cycle round. So excited to be here.
Yeah. So sounds like everybody was working right before Solana Accelerate to ship their products or die.
Yeah. It's a good title to,
And so if we look at like Ethereum versus Solana, we are all, of course, Ethereum friends, but DeFi is lagging behind in terms of activity. So, Ethereum has 70 billion TVL, Solana has 10 billion, so 7 times lower. Ethereum has, 120 billion of stablecoins. Solana has 12 billion, so 10 times lower. What do you think we need to do in Solana ecosystem to grow the DeFi traction as much as on the Ethereum side? Mark, what do you think we need?
For me, we've got the users. We need to bring in the tokens. Solana's got some amazing ecosystem tokens, of course, Sol being the flagship and the LSTs. But if I look at where the growth is coming in Camino, and what's exciting now for us and for users, both retail and institutional, it's more tokens. And we're going very hard after the broadly RWA space. And there's many assets coming which make amazing collateral. And I'd actually include Bitcoin in that. We have a big growth of the desire to trade the value of Bitcoin, but not have to mess about on the Bitcoin network. And Solana's the ideal place for that because of its thriving DeFi ecosystem. So we've got some great Bitcoin tokens coming in, like XBTC from OKX just released. And then on the other end of the scale with RWAs, we've got tokenized stocks, which are especially popular. We've had some announcement today from Kraken, and also tokenized funds. And there's a strong desire for bringing in interesting funds as collateral assets to Camino, and I think that's going to drive more stablecoin demand and help us grow to the much bigger scale of Solana DeFi.
Yeah, and I agree. So at Rockaway X, we run a 100 million private credit fund, which only provides liquidity to DeFi protocols, around 30 protocols for a 100 million fund. That's roughly 3 million on average per protocol. And what we lack within DeFi, and we are always searching for, is high quality yield. And that's how we came across names.com, which then founded. We are actually rebranding names.com to onri.finance and bringing it to Solana. So then, can you tell us more about onri.finance, ONRE.finance? You can all check it out. What is it, and how did you get into reinsurance?
Yeah, absolutely. Names fundamentally was building digital asset infrastructure for the insurance space to come online, to come on chain. And really, you mentioned what's going to bring this next wave of adoption for Solana. I think if you take something like meme coins, for example, this has been a massive use case for what is needed for high transaction, deep liquidity interactions with yielding collateral. And now we're starting to see these yielding products that are really bringing net new yield to the space. So you don't have that sort of correlation with bull or bear markets. you have a yielding asset. In our case, this is reinsurance. It's a very diversified asset class.
How much is the yield? Give us the number.
We model our reinsurance product at 12% plus the collateral asset, which is SUSDE from Athena, which is around 8% at the moment. So the thing with reinsurance is, unlike, let's say, private credit or venture, capital comes in, but then it's lent or invested out. Whereas in reinsurance, the collateral sits verifiable on-chain in its own pool.
Yeah.
And so you earn your insurance returns against that, which we model at 12%. But you also generate investment returns against that capital. That's currently with SUSD is 8%. So on E, which is the LP token for our pool, available as of yesterday, hence the gray hairs, is a 20+% yielding asset, uncorrelated to crypto volatility. So bull, bear market cycles is really unaffected. That can be used, composable fully across the DeFi space.
And I think that's exciting because it's not possible in TradFi, where you are actually compounding both yields. So here we are compounding reinsurance yield of 12% and Athena stablecoin yield of 8%. So high quality 20% yield. Plus currently, I think you guys on your website, onry.finance, you are saying that those who provide TVL now can generate 40% yield.
Yeah, we're incentivizing the first 30 million to get deployed. That's really where the balance sheet is diversified, ready for scale. Yeah. And the point that we have sort of seen being asked is, why haven't there been more structured financial products on chain? And one of the answers, which is a good one, is that crypto native yields are very competitive, particularly when the market's in a good space. What's exciting here is we get to combine both. You have the uncorrelated structured finance of the real world. This brings in net new returns for the crypto space to interact with. But then you get that crypto native yield as well. It's compounded together. Yeah. So we announced yesterday the partnership with Athena to bring that as a collateral asset in this.
Plus, there is another advantage which is not possible in TradFi, is the composability with other DeFi protocols. So yep. Can you tell us, Camino, you guys are supporting Onry Finance. You will be supporting ONE, so ONE-LP token. Why are you excited about Onry Finance? Why have you decided to support it?
Yeah, like I said before, the growth of Solana DeFi, the growth of Camino is all about interesting assets. And this is a really interesting asset. It's a proven asset. The yield at 20% is amazing. And it's in this theme of RWAs. If we think about where Solana is now, we're no longer the poor chain. We had to buy meme
poor
coins
chain.
when Sol was at $10.
Yeah.
Sol's now done a 10x. Meme coins made a wealth effect on Solana, as did the growth of Sol. And the ecosystem's maturing. There's actually a hunger for yield now, like we see on Ethereum, which has gone through a similar cycle in the few years preceding. So we really like this kind of asset. We have users who are looking for not only yield, but also leverage yield. So that's where we're able to come in and bring borrowers, e.g. the holders of the ON-E token, and then lenders who are looking for high-quality assets against which to lend. Yeah. And what we'll be doing is creating a marketplace for borrowers and lenders to meet each other on Camino. So we'll have a collateral asset being the Onry token, and then we'll be able to bring in stablecoin lenders to provide loans, and in essence, allow the Onry holders to lever up their exposure. Yeah. And so in a nutshell, that's the kind of service that Camino as a protocol provides.
In addition to Camino, can you tell us then about the Orca cooperation, maybe Exponent also you are planning in the future?
Yeah. I mean, a big piece here is that the dynamics in the DeFi world don't exist in the TradFi world. So we can apply well-performing assets in the TradFi world to the dynamics of DeFi. Yesterday, there was $3.5 million of liquidity depth built on Orca. So suddenly, this sort of 6-year mission of ours to introduce reinsurance as a liquid asset class was completed yesterday. You can now come into an asset class that is usually looking at 3, 5, 20-year capital commitments, and you can trade in and out of this position 24/7, instantly using the DeFi dynamics that are available to us. Camino come in as a entire liquidity layer on top of all of that kind of activity, utilizing 24/7 liquidity. It's this sort of match made in heaven where you've brought it. We now see a much more mature DeFi market that is ready for these $750 billion reinsurance space, set to be $2 trillion over the next 10 years. This is a huge capital gap of demand where we see digital assets being the main filler of that alternative capital need.
Can you tell us briefly about the underlying insurance you are reinsuring? Some people might think it's risky. Like, how do you as an expert, and you also actually worked at Swiss Re, Mark, before?
It's a topic close to my heart, because I used to work in the world's leading reinsurer. And there's a bit of work to do, I think, in DeFi and with DeFi natives, so that there's like a knowledge gap. We're used in crypto to assets that have a very concentrated risk. And what we're introducing with tokens like this is baskets of diversified risk. And the yield's very attractive. And I think there's sometimes some skepticism with where does the yield come from. And actually getting to know about reinsurance, getting to know about the fact that the yield is very diversified, as you might be underwriting a fire or a flood in America or a health-related or car accident in Asia. So you've got that extreme level of diversification, but you've also got an asset class which scales hugely. I mean, the biggest reinsurers out there have books in the hundreds of millions and beyond. So if we're now talking 10 million, 20 million, 100 million on chain, it's really a drop in the ocean compared to the overall opportunity. So overall, a bit of work to do. We need to get
more education.
Our users comfortable, but I think very bullish for the growth, not just of interesting tokens, but the opportunities for scaling stable coins and providing interesting on-chain yields on Solana.
Dan, for you?
Yeah, the re in insurance is really insurance for insurance companies. So primary insurance build diversification by covering lots of different lines of business, and then a reinsurer is really building a diversified balance sheet of these diversified insurers. So it's diversification squared. We cover, directors and officers, tech, errors and emissions, cyber, travel, property catastrophe. It's a global business by design to achieve that kind of diversification, plus the crypto native yield with SUSDE, fully composable across DeFi, secondary liquidity, 24/7. That's kind of the marriage that we're bringing here.
So check it out, onre.finance, onre.finance. You can already use it today. It was launched yesterday. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Viktor.